Hello friends, this is Growl. In this video we're going to look over the healer tier sets that were just data mined for patch 9.2. I was a little suspect when I saw some of these notes. I didn't think they were all real, but they look pretty sweet. So let's do a deep dive. We'll look and give our first impressions and see how they're going to perform in Mythic Plus or Raid. And also we have Twitch chat joining us. Say hello to YouTube.
Dude,
mute my Discord real quick. Sure, Dorky will do something similar for tank stuff as well. So we'll just go down the list. Now I haven't even read all of these. They've been coming out. They just came out within minutes. So let's talk about the Druid tier set, since we can pretend this one's good. We can read the Druid one and be like, oh, this might be cool, before we realize how cool all of the other sets are. Just going to go over the healer ones. So there is a 2 set and a 4 set piece bonus. And one thing that I do want to point out as well for these tier sets is that this is no longer a raid only tier set. You'll definitely get them quicker if you raid, but you can get these from your weekly chests in Mythic Plus, and you can craft them from a currency. So this isn't going to be something only available to raiders. This is going to be how it's relevant in all forms of content, and you won't have to raid to get them. Let's look. So the 2-piece set bonus, Renewing Bloom, Swiftman heals an additional X amount for each periodic healing effect on the target. This is nice. I think Druid still lacks a little bit of like a big fat heal. So you do like an increase of single target healing. I don't think this will change your playstyle too much, but it will buff Swiftmen a little bit. It'll make Swiftmen feel a little bit better. Ever since Prosperity talent went away in BFA, Swiftmen's felt a little bit lacking, so hopefully this will feel a little bit better. And then the 4 set bonus, Ephemeral Blossom. Swiftmen heals 4 nearby allies for 25% of its healing done. So on one hand, I feel like this is kind of cool, I guess, in that, you know, your Swiftmen button is really good. Your Swiftman button is going to be really good. The downside is it's not really going to change how you play too much, and it also doesn't help the fact that, you know, the things that Druid has struggled with in the past, it's doing a little bit less damage in Mythic Plus, and it doesn't have a strong raid cooldown right now. I don't think it shores up any of the weaknesses that it had. So what you have to hope for is that this is going to do some big healing. Like, you have to hope that this is going to make your Swiftmen just omega juice, and Wrestler Druid is just going to be able to spam out. I mean, I guess now that I think about it though, it does actually change a little bit how you play, right? Because in raid, especially if you want to do big healing, you're actually going to want to stack a lot of hots on the target, right? If this is a big bonus, if this bonus is like significant and it's cleaving onto allies, it will actually be good to run like have a bunch of hots on the guy and then just let it rip. And who knows, if this does, like, you know, if this heals everybody for like a quarter of their health and then it heals the main target for full, I mean, this will feel really good. So who knows? I think this will be fully dependent on tuning. It doesn't do anything crazy. Some of these Guardian ones look kind of cool. I'm reading this too, but we're gonna only talk about healers. So the verdict on the Druid one seems okay. Depends on tuning though, how well it does. Okay, let's look at the next one, the Shaman tier set bonus. Heal the Soul. Chain Heal's critical hit chance is increased by 30% on all targets it hits when cast on a target affected by your Riptide. I would assume then you're always going to want to use Chain Heal on someone with Riptide, and this essentially means that Chain Heal is going to be worth pressing, even in Mythic Plus. Up until now, you don't really press Chain Heal too much, and it kind of feels bad, to be honest. Chain Heal is like one of the cool spells that Shaman has. It's like a very iconic Shaman spell, so it feels bad not to press it. And this is going to make Chain Heal better. Personally, I think this is actually going to be nice for Mythic Plus if you are pressing Chain Heal more, just because it gives you a little bit more AoE healing. It fills up your Cloudburst pretty well, and overall, like, obviously you'd want something as strong as possible, but it'll be nice having another button that you can press. And then the 4 set bonus, Chain Heal critical hits reduce the remaining cooldown on Spirit Link Totem by 2 seconds. This is a little bit strange. I feel like Shaman may have gotten the short end of the stick here. This will have some cool uses in Raid or Mythic Plus specifically when, like, you know, you need to have 2 Spirit Links 2 minutes apart. But here's the thing about Spirit Link, okay? It just does, like, I guess it's good, but it doesn't really, I don't know. I feel like if I wanted something reduced or something stronger, it wouldn't be Spirit Link. Especially for Mythic Plus, this is going to feel a little bit lackluster, I feel like. There's only so often you get to use Spirit Link. It's definitely good, but in Mythic Plus, you're not going to be spamming Chain Heal that much. So I feel like this set bonus doesn't really help Shamans in Mythic Plus that much. The 2 set will be nice. The 4 set, maybe rarely you'll use it. Obviously, Spirit Link is a great button to press, but it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't help your throughput as much, you know. In Raid, it just feels like you're assigned to your SLTs, and maybe there's going to be some points where you like want to spam your Chain Heal to reduce it, or who knows, maybe it's going to be super busted and you can just like use it every minute or something, who knows. But either way, I think Shaman, not super exciting, especially for you since Spirit Link is just kind of a Raid CD. Okay, let's look at Monk. Mistweaver tier set bonus. Essence Font's residual healing effect lasts an additional 2 seconds. This is absolutely awful. This is extremely disappointing. The Essence Font heal does basically nothing. Sometimes it feels like it's just like with Rising Mist and with High Haste, it's just on like almost the whole time anyway. Like maybe this will be some numbers game in Raid where you can have more Essence Font and it does a little bit more healing, but this is essentially going to be doing nothing in Mythic Plus, and you know, kind of boring. Really boring. Not super excited about this. Lastly, the 4-piece bonus. Drinking Thunder Focus Tea summons a Progenitor Rune of Healing, increasing all healing dealt while inside its bounds by some number. It says 1, 2, 3, but who knows what it's going to be. This could be good. I mean, they're essentially doubling down on Mistweaver's strengths right now in that it does a lot of healing. So again, very similar to Druid in that it's not going to shore up the weaknesses that make it so Mistweaver doesn't get brought to Mythic Plus. This bonus isn't great for Mythic Plus either. However, in Raid, it could be very big. Like Mistweaver could actually be doing a ridiculous amount of healing because it says it increases all healing dealt. But what does that mean exactly? Is that like every single Essence Font tick, every single, like everything that you do? It could actually end up being a very large amount of healing. Like Mistweavers already do the highest HPS in Raid right now. And if this like just makes all of their healing do more, and they're doing healing on the entire Raid with like a bunch of Renewing Mists, a bunch of Essence Font HOTS, this could be very good in Raid in the sense that you're going to be cranking HPS. So I feel like this will be the best Raid tier for Mistweavers of the expansion, although that's not saying that much, I guess. The best Raid tier for Mistweavers in a while, actually. But for Mythic Plus, I feel like none of these tier sets have been that exciting. Now let's look at our Pally ones. There's not a thread for this yet, so sorry for the format change. 2-piece Holy. Casting Word of Glory causes your next Light of Dawn to heal for more and cast twice. Cannot occur more often than once every 30 seconds. So this means essentially you get a free Light of Dawn, or a free Light of Dawn and a half every 30 seconds, which is like pretty good. Pretty good. I think this is going to change your rotation quite a bit in Mythic Plus and Raid, because in Raid you don't really want to cast Word of Glory, and in Mythic Plus you don't really want to cast Light of Dawn. But this is going to make it so pressing them both is going to be worth it, so you're going to be having to mix up Light of Dawn and Word of Glory. Probably. But once we get to the 4-piece bonus, you're definitely going to want to press Light of Dawn. Personally, I really like this for Raid. I hate the idea of not being able to spot heal unless you're running the Light of the Martyr build and using Light of the Martyr. So being able to press Word of Glory in Raid and not being punished for it is going to feel really good. I feel like this is going to be very strong for Raid. And now, to the 4-piece bonus. Each target hit by Light of Dawn has a 100% chance to reduce the remaining cooldown of Avenging Wrath by 2 seconds. So each target hit, so it hits 5 targets, and that means it's reducing Avenging Wrath by 10 seconds every time you press Light of Dawn. So I have a lot of questions here. First off, is there any sort of ICD, or is this just any single Light of Dawn? Can you just reduce the cooldown of 10 seconds every single time you press Light of Dawn? The second question is, does this count with the 2-piece set bonus? So when you press Word of Glory and then you press Light of Dawn, does it reduce your wings by 20 seconds with one spell cast? Is that what, because based off of the fact that they're both together, it makes me think that it does. I have a feeling this is going to be nerfed very, very strongly. If this goes live like this, you're essentially just going to be 100% uptime on wings, which I did not expect Paladins to get buffed again. I mean, this is a great tier set bonus for Mythic Plus and for Raid. I think this is very, very powerful. Granted, you're not pressing Light of Dawn that much in Mythic Plus, but keep in mind, this gives you, like, essentially in Mythic Plus, you're never going to press Shield of the Righteous now, because you're always, or very rarely, right? Because you're always going to want to press Light of Dawn to reduce your wings. So this is going to change your rotation. It's going to make you think a little bit. It's going to improve your healing, and it's going to improve your damage. So yeah, this is gonna be juice. This is gonna be really strong. I'd imagine this is gonna get nerfed. I would imagine this gets nerfed by over 50%. I think maybe even more, yeah, maybe even like 75%, to be like half of a second, or just 2 seconds per cast of Light of Dawn. Or else, if this goes live, this is going to be absolutely nuts. I don't think they're gonna rework it. It's definitely way too late to rework, but yeah, so this is so far by far the best tier set bonus we've seen. And lastly, we have the presets, and I haven't seen these yet. So let's look at the discipline one first. Casting Power Word Shield or Shadow Mend has a 15% chance to make your next Shadow Mend have no cost or cast time. That's actually pretty sweet. The thing about Shadow Mend is it's a really powerful spell, but because you have a hard cast it and because it costs a lot of mana, you don't want to press it that often. But this is actually pretty dang good. So this is essentially Dispriests get Divine Purpose, like the Paladin talent, where you have a 15% chance to just get a free Shadow Mend. This is going to feel really strong, actually. And if you have any other stuff that buffs your Shadow Mend, this is really good. This is, I think, the best 2-piece bonus that I've seen. 15% isn't... What's funny is this might feel a little clunky in Raid, because, like, you still ramp, right? Like, in Raid, you just do your ramp every time, and you have to manage the fact that you never are going to get procs. But in Mythic Plus, this is going to feel awesome, because you're just going to... It's going to help your mana management a lot, and also you're just going to be able to cast Shadow Mend on the move. Like, you can even, depending on how long this lasts, you can even bank this proc for a while, right? You get a proc, you hold on to it until you need to cast while moving or whatever. All right. Power of the Dark Side increases the effectiveness of penance by an additional 45% and is triggered when Radiance is cast. So this is kind of interesting, because this Dispriest again, so Dispriest and Holy Paladin have 4 pieces that really help Mythic Plus and Raid. Because obviously, an increased penance is going to make your ramp stronger in Raid, and it's going to be stronger for healing. But also, now this is going to help your damage, right? It buffs your penance proc, which, let's be honest, the penance proc doesn't really feel that good anyway. And then also, it will help your damage too. So this is actually pretty good. It's kind of hard to... So first of all, because it triggers when Radiance is cast, this means anytime you do any sort of ramp in Raid, it's going to boost your penance, right? every single ramp that you do has at least 1 radiance, whether it's a big one with 2 radiance and everything, or just like a small one with like a schism and 1 radiance in between. This is going to make every single penance that you do in your ramp with this proc. So that's nice, and it increases your damage. It's hard to say. You'd have to math out how this works, but this feels like one of the better 4-piece set bonuses as well. I think Disc Priest made it out pretty well. The downside to this, I guess, this doesn't change the way you play hardly at all. Like this is essentially completely passive. I guess it increases the priority of using those procs when you get them. This will feel good though. I think even though it doesn't change the way you play that much, having these free Shadowman procs, I feel like will be really awesome. And it's nice that Power Word Shield gives you those free ones too. So you can kind of... One thing that's interesting is you might even be able to spam Power Word Shield in between pulls. Like when you're walking from pack to pack in Mythic Plus, you can just like use a couple shields to try and get that Shadowman proc, depending on how long it lasts. Alright, let's look at, lastly, we'll look at Holy. Your Holy Words begin Divine Conversation, increasing the cooldown reduction of your next Holy Word affecting spell by 15 seconds. Hold on. So when you use a Holy Word, the next cooldown reduction is increased by 15 seconds. That's kind of a lot. That's a very large amount, actually. That's really, really strong for a 2-set bonus. You're gonna be able to just spam out those Holy Words like permanently, and you don't really have to think about it too much, just because every time you use a Holy Word, you just get the proc, right? And then anytime you try and reduce it, it's gonna reduce it by a lot. And the 4-piece set bonus increases the effectiveness of your next Holy Word affecting spell. Hold on. The effectiveness of your next Holy Word affecting spell. What does that even mean? Is that saying like any spell that reduces Holy Words is increased? Is that the cooldown reduction? Is that just the heal? I guess again they're sort of going the same way with Holy Priest that they went with Mistweaver and Druid. It's just like a straight up healing gain. Oh, that is true. That is interesting. It is technically a DPS gain, right? Because I wonder how much this will matter in Mythic Plus if you're always using your these procs on, is it Smite? I don't remember if it's Smite or if it's Holy Fire. Yeah, Smite, right? So Smite just does so little damage though. I feel like it'll be cool to kind of pay attention to and buff your damage of Smite, but it won't be that big of a deal. Like Smite is just so, yeah. I feel like this will make Holy Priest feel pretty strong at least. I also think that like traditionally you don't get a lot of haste on Holy Priest, but especially in Mythic Plus I feel like you're gonna want a lot of haste because you're just gonna be wanting to slam out buttons. Like in between Serenity, Sanctify, and Chastise, and then every single one of those abilities you'll need to use another ability that'll bring it back, and then that ability will bring it back 15 seconds faster. I feel like Holy Priest, you're actually going to be like karate chopping your keyboard. I bet Holy Priest is going to feel really, really fun. This is going to be like, essentially all of your Holy Word spells are your fun spells, right? Those are like the real juicers that feel good to press. And you're just going to be slamming them like every 20 seconds or something. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Almost like a permanent mini Apoth. And when you have Apoth active, oh my gosh, having Apoth active is going to be crazy. I guess I'd have to see exactly how it feels. Like I know when you press Apoth and then it takes like 3 spells to reduce Serenity and Sanctify every time. Cool. So this is interesting. I think they did a really good job with these. Some of them are a little bit you know, like the early ones that we looked at, the Shaman ones and the Druid ones are not super crazy. Being able to press Chain Heal again, I think will feel good. I think you might look at the Shaman one and be a little bit disappointed, but at the same time, I think just being able to press chain heal again and not feel bad about it. Keep in mind too, with Shaman, there's actually a pretty good chain heal conduit that you can use, but you never use it because you never press chain heal, right? So using with the chain heal conduit, which will be worth using, I feel like it'll be pretty strong. So as much as this is probably the least fun or impactful 4-set bonus, like granted, some people might be like, oh, Megalol, like it's gonna be so good in raid prog or whatever, but like this, dude, no one cares about assigned raid cooldowns that you have to use. Well, that wraps up our look at the 9.2 tier sets. I do expect some tuning. You know, if this Paladin one goes live, there's going to be a lot of angry people, but come on, let's be honest, we all knew that Paladin was just going to get some OP tier set bonuses anyway.